You see, hi everyone, how you doing, man? We're just gonna go live right now without a countdown, and last minute preparation and stuff like that. You know how it is. You know how us breakbeat artists are. But hey guys, I am live right now, and just want to share a really cool show that I've been looking forward to. JonH and JonH, a tribute to JonH of Fort Knox 5 and Mustafa Akbar, as well as my great friends to help me to celebrate this good show. Steve from Fort Knox 5 and Jason Qdup. We're just going to be sharing some good times here. And yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this. And we got some like really good things to talk about and some good things maybe you can share with us as well. So we're going to come back, and we're going to come back right after this. Hey guys, we're back, and we are live here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube with the Funk Masters himself. Yeah, that's right, the Funk Masters himself. I'm going to say that right out. Steve Raskin, Fort Knox 5. We got Qdup. Jason, how you guys doing?
I'm doing really good.
Fantastic tonight.
Yeah,
you know,
good to be with you, Jeff.
You know, it was really great putting this together, you know, after the last couple of weeks, you know, talking about what we're going to be doing for this show. And yeah, it was just really great kind of like, you know, talking again and, you know, rehashing up all those great memories and stuff like that. So, well, for all of you guys who don't know, I've known Steve and Jason for years now. And I met him through a good friend, a mutual friend by name of JonH. And JonH was part of Fort Knox 5, Fort Knox Recordings, the label, and him definitely did tracks together with JonH and Rascal, and it's like I met John long time ago, as he was working for Nation in DC. That club in DC was a huge club that Scott Henry would do, and Scott Henry would bring me out there, and JonH would be the guy who would pick up the artists and stuff like that. And so every time I would play at Nation, John would be the man to pick me up and show me around DC and all that. And that's when I met Steve and Jason in DC. And it was great because we got to become really good friends during that time, and watching you guys grow as artists. I remember John was like, the guy, working the artist and stuff like that, for Nation and stuff like that. And, he was really good, with that, and just bringing me, into your guys' family, so I really appreciate that, and so awesome that we're still friends, this whole time.
I was gonna say it's nice to have you back too. It's been well, just we're talking about the old days, and John, because he was the driver, we as the fans got to meet everybody, and John was such a good connector with people, and especially back in those days. That was kind of our in. We'd get to the clubs and we'd be like, oh, we know these guys. And because of that, I think, you guys were a big influence on us. The early break scene, the early rave scene, Jason will attest to. The mixes that you and Dan put out back in the day too, we were like, every record that was on there, we would try to find. That was our goal, to find those records,
The good old record digging days.
Oh yeah, some pretty legendary after parties, which we got to DJ with you, and this was when we were just like starting DJs. Yeah. So it was big for us to have you guys over and be able to go through records and play tunes back then, for sure.
Yeah, and look at us now.
Still doing so awesome too. I wish I could have found some older pictures of us. I wish I had more time. But you guys, we'll do another show, and I'll be better prepared. But man, there's just so much that I wanted to share. Just not enough time in like one show to do that.
Now we could do the history of breakbeat in one show, and then just talk about everything COVID related.
Right. It's just like there's so much stuff going on right now. Yeah, so that's a good like transition into what I actually wanted to talk to you guys about. So you're Steve. You're in Vancouver.
Yes, I'm living in Vancouver now.
So when did you make this? You moved from DC to Vancouver.
DC to BC. Yeah. So I've been calling my move the DC to BC connection for a little while now. Mm-hmm. I met my new wife out here, and about starting around 2017, I think. I had officially left DC and have been slowly moving out here. So, I love being out here. I love being on the West Coast, closer to you guys. Although with this COVID thing, it's prevented a little bit of traveling restrictions.
Right.
It's funny because, not to get too politically sidetracked here and all with everything, but when Trump won the first time, Steve and I were both like, we're moving to Canada.
This is true. And last week I was getting the phone calls from other people being like, so how do we do this thing about moving up to Canada?
That's funny. That's so cool. And okay, so Jason, you are in Los Angeles now, right? Because I know you were living with John for a little bit, right? You were living with John for a little bit.
This is my second stint in LA. I was out here for a good number of years through the 2000s and had moved back and was actually living with John there for a few years, in the early 2000 teens there for a few years, which was it was nice to get back and kind of be around the Fort Knox fam, and that's when I really started putting out my own tunes on the label as well. So that was definitely a nice little landing pad to go back to DC for that bit.
Oh man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I've been back in LA for I think 2015, like halfway through the year. So I've been back for 3 years, a little over 3 years.
Jeez, yeah, and I'm glad you are, because it's just like I didn't even know that, and it's just like, oh shit, he's back.
You guys are close.
Yeah, so we're real close. Yeah, so definitely, once I get back on the production, bandwagon again, I'm definitely gonna hit up some Qdup.
Get it in. I'm always down to work.
Yeah, definitely. So with the COVID thing, are you guys wearing masks over there, or
100%. Yeah. In fact, just today we there was a little bit of an uptick in the COVID warnings here, and British Columbia in general has been really good. It's actually had one of the lowest outbreaks. But the woman who runs everything out here, Bonnie Henry, she's got everybody on another little watch out lockdown kind of thing. So even small gatherings of friends is now being restricted, but it's preventative. And honestly, if everything in the States had kind of gone like this, then it would be shorter like lockdowns of these restrictions. But yeah, masks everywhere here when you go into stores. And yeah.
I'm pretty sure my assumption is the same thing with the uptick in the States here is the whole, like, it's right after Halloween to a week and a half after Halloween.
Yeah.
So that's my
house parties tend to bring people real in close contact with each other.
Yeah, there's a lot more renegades. I'm sure it's probably like this in LA, but I'm finding like within the last couple of weeks, it's been getting really back to normal on the streets,
right?
Especially on the freeways and stuff like that. So, and I'm starting to see, more people, being out, but a lot of people are being a lot more conscious of the mask, because there's for a little bit, especially like in Orange County, there's people not wearing masks or going to the beach. Like, I go, what, is it over? You know what I mean? Because like no one was wearing masks. There's like a couple restaurants open. I had to like take a picture of it because I couldn't believe it. There's no one wearing masks in there. There's like nothing was going on.
They have it up here. The restaurants are open, and when you're in the restaurant, you don't have to wear the mask, but the servers and the bartenders, everybody there do. But so it's a little bit less than it is in the States right now, but it's also province to province in Canada.
Yeah, the numbers have also been so much lower there. So
yeah, but no music events, no performance, no entertainment, no theaters.
I've seen some. It's the same thing here. Drive-in and like some of the dinners seated, small, limited number tickets. I'm seeing flyers up there as well. But same thing as here, But there are. I'm getting text messages, and I know there's been stuff going on around LA. I haven't really gone out and done any of it, and I don't really feel the need to right now in the middle of this. But there's certainly people that are doing parties. They may not be, nearly as many as there usually are, and they may be smaller, but there's some events going on. I'm seeing them pop up.
You guys itching to go back? I mean, I know you guys do Shambhala a lot, right? So when does that usually happen? That happens
late July now. It used to be.
Yeah, it used to be beginning of August, but late July. But I mean, as of now, none of the festivals have for next summer, or nobody's announcing anything right now. I think everyone's waiting to see how it's going to be. Although I did just see a lineup for New Zealand, because New Zealand had a complete 100% lockdown on the entire, nation, whatever, that they're able to actually have festivals now. Of course, it's only New Zealand artists, but there's a lot of good New Zealand artists.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I bought tickets to go see the New Order and the Pet Shop Boys, in LA. It's supposed to be like in October, and it's like, I almost forgot. It's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it's like, I go, shit, I totally missed the date. You know what I mean? and then they go, oh, 2021. I go,
next year.
Yeah, I noticed on the Shambhala page, I just went just out of curiosity the other day just to kind of see what was happening over there. And I noticed that the way they've got it now is their ticket length. They're like, oh, if you buy tickets, they're good for 3 years.
That's pretty cool.
I think they've got tickets up there, but it's like, okay, there's no guarantees this is happening this year, but it's going to happen within 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Like extra mile, which is smart, I think. No reason, because it's certainly a possibility that it could happen, especially with as low as things have been happening, things are starting to reopen.
The vaccine comes.
Yeah, vaccines are being talked about heavily as being there.
There's supposedly one out there, so we'll see what happens. But
we'll see what happens.
Who knows what? That's all we can do, right? We just got to
Yeah.
kind of go with it and make the best out of it. But it gives you a little bit more time to spend more time on music and stuff like that, right?
For sure. I mean, if nothing else, the lockdown has been an imposed music creation station.
Right, and you guys are constantly putting stuff out, you know, whether it be on your label, Fort Knox recording label, or you're doing remixes for other people and stuff like that. And we're going to share, you know, some of the new things that you've done. God, I was just like, you know, some of them, you know, some of the older ones that I know, it's like brought back so many memories, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, that's the part where everyone freaking screams. Oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, God. So it's just, yeah. And yeah, you guys are in for a treat for a little bit, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, you know, how you guys actually work together now, because you guys, you know, since Jon's passing, and I know, you know, Sid, is he part of it still, or
Sid's making sure the lights stay on in the studio at home right now.
Right.
He's got the big boy job, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Rob. So when, you know, just to fill everybody in, when we first started Fort Knox, it was myself, JonH, Sid Barcelona, and Rob Myers, and Jon and I were doing that side project. Actually, you played in your intro, the one, Jon Rascal. That was our rave name. That was right when we met you, Jeff. So we were JonH and Rascal. I don't think Fort Knox 5 had even started.
Right.
And
that was Mustafa Akbar that did the vocals, right?
Mustafa did the vocal on it. And did you not do a remix on that as well?
Well, I put that out on my I put that out on my one of my mixed compilations and stuff like that, and actually put it out on my label too, only as a vinyl release. You know what I mean?
I remember.
So, and it's just like, oh my God, man, that just songs, especially, oh my God, it's everything about that track, especially when Mustafa's voice comes in the second round. You know, one with the rhythm. And the second time, it's like, oh my God, he hits those like chords like crazy. You know what I mean? I remember
when. So I distinctly remember when Jon and I played that for you, and you were like, oh, "This is it, guys." And I was like, "This is it, Jon. We've made it. We are official now." That was our big song. It was going to be our, you know, we had made it then. You know, we got an opening slot at Nation. Jeff's putting out our single, and then we do the after party, and then we all play together. Those were good times.
Oh my God, you know, and you know, that's, you know, when you just feel like, you know, like, man, you know, he's like, I've known you in another life or something. I don't know what it is, but I just feel that like a homey type feeling, you know, with you guys, you know. I mean, I don't get that with, you know, a lot of people and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's just crazy. But yeah, we're still together, we're still friends. Yes,
we're still friends.
We still answer each other's phone calls and all that, so we're all good. We don't ghost each other.
No.
So that's awesome. So you guys are actually putting out music. You guys aren't touring anymore, but as far as like, are you guys making music together, or are you guys kind of doing your own thing and then kind of putting out releases individually? Well, what are you guys doing?
Jason, let me just take this a second. When Jon passed away,
right.
Jon and I had been doing, obviously it was really hard to push through it, and I couldn't have done it without Jason. Jason and Jon and I all grew up together. We grew up doing the music together, and Jon and I had been doing a 4-deck set where we were doing live looping on top of instrumentals, and in the middle of all of it, I was like, I personally didn't know how to move through it, and by bringing Jason on board to continue to do this 4-deck set, it was good. It was healing, and it was something that I know I needed to do. I think Jason did too, to be able to continue the music and not have it just stop right there.
Right.
And
it
there's
was
nobody
a
else
little overwhelming at first, you know, when you lose a close friend like that, and
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit cathartic for both of us to be able to go out and, you know, kind of every time that we went in, where, you know, we had friends that knew Jon, that knew us. You know, it was yeah, it was needed, and yeah, I could see, especially with Steve having been doing that, you know, that was really for a lot of the big festival sets, you know, the thing that they had been, you know, pioneering. So yeah, I could see how just going out and doing that, and even just having to talk to everybody by yourself could have been really challenging. So
a bit overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, and it's big. The thing is, it's not filling Jon's shoes, because this was about carrying the legacy forward. And for everyone who did not know Jon in person, he was a very larger than life guy. Like we were saying in the beginning, he introduced everybody. He brought all the right people together. And so to be able to continue on Fort Knox as a musical entity was really important to me. If we going back a little in the history line, so after the JonH and Raskin thing, then we started Fort Knox Recordings, and Fort Knox 5 was our group on our own label. And the whole idea of Fort Knox Recordings was to put out music by our friends, not looking to sign anybody. It was all about supporting and building our scene in DC, especially post-rave scene. And so Jason, you were there in the beginning, and then you went to LA, but you were working on Qdup Productions. And the idea that we were, you know, if you were part of our crew in DC, then whatever we could do to support that, and it was putting out records and creating a real scene for the type of music that we're doing, which didn't really fit into any one particular genre. I mean, it was all breakbeat to us, but as breaks changed post rave scene, and you know, we just navigated this type of music together. And so it's the idea that we're still doing music. We're not working on music necessarily together, but we definitely do play shows. And I'm actually in the process of remixing one of Jason's new songs right now too.
Oh,
you know, I mean, that's a nice way to go back and forth.
We're definitely each other's lifeline when it comes to, like, we're finishing up tracks where we've got some stuff together. We're kind of a little think tank for you know, providing a little musical backup and reassurance for each other.
I was gonna say it's one of the things I miss most about Jon's. He was always very straight up with me when I was working on a mix. If it didn't sound good, he just would like, no. Sometimes you need that straight up. I don't know, you're in the middle of it. You don't know. So
fuck that junks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I believe I'll tell you.
Favorite line he once told me was, he said, "I'll tell you when it sucks." Yeah, I was like, okay, that's fair enough.
Well, yeah, I was there. You were like, "Hey, what do you think about?"
You haven't said anything.
I'll tell you when it sucked.
Yeah.
Jon.
Oh,
9 times out of 10, he was right about that stuff. So.
Oh, he was always right. Never doubted that.
But I thought that was really interesting too when we were talking off camera about dealing with distributors, right? Your distribution company, how you would come out with tracks, and how when you're giving things to the distributor, you got to give it a genre where they want to place it, and it's real interesting how they're breakbeat tracks, but they'd probably sell better like in the reggae section or the hip hop section. And you were telling me how Jon was really good at doing that, and I go, gee, I never really thought about doing releases like that or putting in genres like that, or I think that might do a little bit better. I just for me, when I put out stuff on our label, it's just okay, is it breaks, is it what is it, so but never thought of going to the hip hop or or to a totally different genre like that, reggae, right? I mean, I just thought it was just really like, wow, that's pretty smart, man.
Especially, a lot of we jump around in tempos a lot, and for most of what's going to chart on a breakbeat chart on a store like Juno or Beatport or some of the other big music retailers, if you're not doing, 128, 130 BPM, super rave style breaks, a lot of the times you're not really going to make it into those charts. So, we might be doing 115 BPM or 110 BPM stuff that we consider breakbeat. And, for a while there, it was getting stuck into glitch hop and still does.
Yeah. When it was a genre.
When it was,
and that was recently taken off too. I was so bummed out about that.
It's going through a little catharsis right now. I don't know.
I mean, it's just like, God, it's just like, where's all this? I mean, you can still find it, but you have to like, you don't even, that genre doesn't even have like a top 100 or top 50 anymore or anything where it makes it easy for, the, people who don't want to sift through things, go through the stuff that are a little bit more popular. You just got to go through a subgenre and find it that way. It just made it real difficult to find that type of music. So, only the good DJs find your stuff. So,
I think,
or DJ, I shouldn't say that. DJs that are more seasoned, I guess I should say, will find your stuff. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be like no brainer. Oh shit, that's the funk right there. That's the breaks. Funky breaks. But I don't know. I mean, what would you consider yourself like if you were to like I mean, I know John said we don't want genre specific and stuff like that, but you know what I mean, it's just like you can't avoid it, you know what I mean? So I mean, would you, if in a perfect world and stuff like that, there's a genre for mid-tempo breaks that are like 115 to 125 max,
sure. Tell me what that's called, and that's what we are. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Funky electronic. It's funky electronic music, really.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I mean, in the end, it's the funk. I mean, and which is why, like we always said, when it comes down to it, it's the funk. But the problem is, funk has been sort of marketed as a retro sound. Yeah. And it's not. Funk is. I mean, funk is funk. Like it just doesn't. The problem is that it's to sort of break out of that. Whether it's sort of a retro flashback kind of reference, or whether it's future funk. I would say, I know future funk is an actual genre, but it's like it's electronic funk. That's what I describe it as. It's funky electronic music.
Right. I mean, it's at least
Well, it's
let's
funny,
find something and have it staple in, and it's just like it's. So people can like make it a genre. Like, what does Juno put you guys up as?
Most of the time, breaks.
Yeah, it's breaks, right?
Yeah, they're charting and what seems to sell well there kind of leans.
I mean, it's funny. I was just looking at the chat a little bit, and some people call it bass funk, some people call it ghetto funk. Those are branches of it, but not all of it fits under that. And I think it certainly gets closer but ghetto funk was more of a community in the same way that I would say Fort Knox is a community. It was like a community of like-minded artists putting out mostly, mashup style funk music, it's
just crazy because I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it, obviously. But it's just I was just so disappointed when that happened, and how like big, conglomerates can like totally decide on the future. Some can decide on a genre, especially like, when there's not too many of them, around, it just it's a shame that I mean, what did you think of them putting you into glitch hop? I mean,
I think that was fine too, because at least it referenced more of the sort of hip hop flavor of what the stuff that we were doing. I was going to make a comment though. One of the interesting things about, I think, where we are now with, especially in COVID times right now, one of the things I've seen that's given me hope is that on the live stream community, there is a huge funk music community. There's a funk music scene, whether it's the Funklectic crew or Farbsy, and Make It Funky, all the UK guys. There's been a really, really nice back and forth of UK, US, especially, maybe some of the Aussie guys too, of the funk community banding together. And we've been doing these these live stream raids. And kudos to, like I said, Farbsy and Immaculate and those guys for actually organizing it. But to go from one person to another, introducing people, or even if it's not introducing them, reinforcing this funk community has been for me, one of the saving graces of doing music in COVID times.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely felt weird, you know. I know that it's one of the subjects that you wanted to tackle, you know, like what we're doing in these times, and it's definitely. I've sort of given myself a pass. You know, usually I'm try to be pretty heavy on myself about when I come up with a release schedule, or you know, just wanting to keep on top of things, and I'm still being active, but it's felt a little bit weird, especially early on, just with kind of the state of things. You know, we make, you know, funky, party, happy music.
It's not
one of those things where it felt weird for a little while. You know, I've been working on things in the background, but it just felt weird. Just trying to figure out what kind of music I really want to do. It was really actually refreshing. I just got done doing a remix, which we'll preview, that's not out yet, from Omega Man, and it's very like power to the people sort of. That kind of was a nice little palate cleanser, and you know, yeah, it felt good to feel like what I was working on kind of went in line with what I was feeling. But you know, it goes day to day when in the studio. Sometimes it's really easy to kind of just let go and get immersed in what we would usually be doing. And you know, I've taken a lot of time this year to work on my studio and building my space and learning how to play new instruments, and you know, giving myself a chance to be like, okay, well, I'm doing this. You know, I'll spend some more time and learn some new chords. And you know, I've been learning to play guitar this year, which I'm, you know, still just kind of getting my feet underneath me with it. But you know, I've taken it as a time to work on improving the kind of music that I'm making.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed. I mean, your production has definitely, you know, has up the ante every single time I've like listened to a new track of yours. There's always something like, oh shit, dude, you know, what's he using now? You know, and just like, yeah, you've come a long way, Mr. Jason Qdup. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, shit, dude. I mean, now I know why Steve brought you in too. I mean, you know, not that you're only a good friend, but I mean, I think you guys, you know, kind of have that, you know, you guys come from that same kind of feeling. You guys, I could tell you guys kind of can, you know, you guys are like, can read each other really well.
Oh, yeah, when we're DJing, it's, you know, it's like you're in a jazz band, you know, it's, you know, it's call and response, and you know, he's saying something and then I answer it, or back and forth that way.
Yeah, you know, it's really hard too to find people like that you can work like that with. I mean, sometimes it will last for like maybe 3-5 years max, and then you know, it just kind of doesn't work, you know. But you know, for you being friends and stuff, so I think that's awesome.
It's funny when Jason and I played together. Jon and I played obviously for probably a decade, literally a decade, going back and forth doing our live shows. And as soon as Jason and I started playing together, it was like, wow, this is way easier. It's hard to argue with Jon. Jon was always right.
The general,
the general. Jason, we were talking on the same playing field, you know.
That's so rad.
Jon was always the general.
Jon was always the general.
I'm the general.
You know that we called him Generally John.
Yes.
Right? So,
Generally John, simply Jeff.
Simply Jeff, General John, yeah.
Jon Jonks.
Yeah, Jon Jonks. Yeah, definitely. So as far as like music programs and stuff like that, what kind of software are you guys using right now?
I mean, it's mostly Ableton right now.
Yeah, Steve, and Steve was my mentor with Pro Tools, and I was on Pro Tools for many years, and it's been, I don't know, probably almost 9 years now, something like that I switched over to Live, which I'd used it a little bit before that, but Yeah, Live is an inspiring software that there's like always something new you can learn, or if you come up with an idea that you want to do, usually you can figure out a way to do it in Live. It's pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say I end up doing like Live is sort of taken over for me just because it's easier it's easier to like sketch out an idea. I find it really easy to like throw something in, play around with the tempos, play around with all these things. When I was still going back and forth with the studio in DC, what I would end up doing was bouncing out the stems, and then we would bring them into Pro Tools and run it through all the outboard gear in our studio in DC. But now everything's pretty much done in the box.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
that is one thing about the difference between Live and Pro Tools is working with virtual instruments is like 5 million times easier in Live. So if you're working in the box, there's some stuff about Pro Tools, it sounds great, and if you're like recording and comping vocals is a little bit easier in Pro Tools if you're doing like live band stuff. So it's a great software, but I mean, really, like any of these DAWs that are out there, there's some 16-year-old kid out there using Fruity Loops that are making tracks.
They're making hits.
Amazing, So it's all about what you do with your tools.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, there's people that are making some good stuff, and it's not all on Ableton, it's not on Logic, it's not all on, Fruity Loops or whatever. FL Studio, sorry. So it's definitely, how good you put things together and how you're able to layer things, and program a song, really. And that's just like what it comes down to DJing, I always thought the best DJs are the ones who know how to program a set rather than the ones that are the best mixers, because I mean, you can, if you play the wrong track after the other, I mean, the energy can drop, or you could because you're totally messing with energy, And one thing I definitely learned from DJ Dan is he would never, like when I started DJing, I would put things in like BPM order, right?
Yeah.
And I would like take the little stickers and put like, the BPM on it, all my, and so they're in order kind of thing. And then after that, just whatever, but they're all in like BPM order. And when Dan used to come over and stuff like that, he would like say, nah, I don't do I just put it like, with the energy, you know what I mean? So basically you got to know like where you're, so I have in like an energy order. So I got from low to high here. And then, if the guy leaves me off here, I just, I go, oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense, because really, I mean, I have them all in beat order, but really like when I'm playing, off the crowd, I'm not really going in that order. I'm like kind of, I'm jumping all around, depending on like the energy that the song has, And so if someone doesn't really have that simple concept of DJing, because a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't have that.
Right.
They just want to just blend the record together. They have no concept of energy control or how to lead in, So it's just that one thing that stuck to me back then, when we were doing a DJ's project. That's when we spent a lot of time together. And
that was a big record.
Yeah, see, I got right here even because you mentioned it when we were off the air.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a big record.
Yeah. Me, DJ Dan, my old partner Brian G from Excalibur, and DJ Rectangle. So that was pretty fun. But
what year was that?
It was 96.
Yeah, 96. Yeah.
Yep, that was early.
Yeah, that's one of the pioneering records.
What was that?
That was one of those records that like pioneered the break sound that we ended up assimilating our sound from.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sorry, it was 95. So that was back then in 95 when you were assimilating your sound.
95. Look at that.
Yep. That was probably in the first, couple of hundred of dance records I bought.
Yeah. So yeah, it was during that time when me and Dan were spending a lot of time together and stuff. So it's learned a lot from him as a DJ too. So and he was going out to DC all the time too, playing at Nation.
Yeah, Nation in Baltimore at the Paradox.
Oh, the Paradox too. Oh yeah. With what you call it, Feel Good and all those guys. Oh yeah, so good. Scott Henry, of course. So so man, that's awesome. So you guys are continuing, you're putting out tracks. So do you have like, you know, any new tracks coming out that you have in the pipeline, or are you guys waiting because of this whole COVID thing? Now, this is one thing I want to know, because people who are making music out there, what do you guys do? Because when you put out music, you're when you put out music, you got a tour to back it up, right? So now that you don't really have that.
That's been the usual thing, to put out something, tour on your release. Honestly, in the last couple of years, it's been, for me, since after Jon passed away, my productivity slowed down immensely. But it was, I really personally needed to find my voice again and figure out what kind of music I even wanted to continue making. So I've been working. I have a million songs that have been started, but the ones that are even further along than the original ones are collaboration stuff. I've really been enjoying collaborations second, doing remixes first, because remixes are great. You get a song that's already been written. You get to use all the pieces that you want to use, and you chuck out all the rest.
Yeah, right.
Song. In fact, we're going to be listening to a couple of the more recent remixes that I've been working on, and Jason, you too. But after remixes, collaborations, I've been really enjoying this too, because for so long it was I had to be, personally, I was like, I had to be the impetus for the sound or thing of what we were doing as Fort Knox. And Jon would sort of feed my creativity. He'd be like, play me a song or play a beat or whatever, and challenge me to build it or whatever. And that actually helped me. I like working on something where I have some sort of input. So remixes first right now, collaboration second, and original pieces third. And I've got probably a dozen mix and match of those. So whichever one gets finished first, that's what's coming out first.
That's a good way of doing it, right?
Yeah, very much likewise for me. I mean, I've got a few tracks that I've done with Everyman that I've got the vocals all recorded for, that, you know, will likely be put out together. Yeah, we'll see how quickly I finish them off, but that's probably for original music stuff that's further along. You know, I've gotten a few new keyboards and stuff, and it's been a learning process with each piece of gear. So usually when I get a new synth or something like that, I'm going through all the presets and trying to learn how to program it, and pulling, you know, just open up a session and try to write something with it off the bat, just to you know, someone might have a software companion that goes with them, or you know, I may need to figure out the best way to work with it. And I got certainly a handful of beats that are new things that, you know, I'm probably even forgetting about all the things that I've started. I saw you know that meme where there's like the couple that's walking, and the guys turn around and looking at the girl that just walked by. I saw a version of that the other day that was like looking at new tracks while all your old tracks are looking at you. Sideways.
Oh man,
that's cool. What a great analogy there, Jason.
Yeah. I didn't make it. It was somebody else's meme, but
yeah. Thanks for sharing. That's what this show's all about, sharing.
Made me laugh.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. That's so cool. So you guys, let's get into the music here. Let's get into what you guys got. You know, let me just pull it up here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with a JonH and Rasco track, Conquest, right? So when was that?
Remix is one of the first. I think this was one of the first remixes that Jon and I had gotten asked to do, and it was for, the group was called Conquest, and it was God, what was the actual title of the track? Something America.
Oh yeah.
I'm spacing right now.
I thought the track was called Conquest. Yeah, the group was Conquest.
Yeah, Conquest. Yeah, which was like I think like a Spanish breaks guy, but it was on Red Menace Records, and so Jon,
right, Red Menace, yes,
yeah. So one Winter Music Conference after we had started our JonH and Rascal moniker, we came down and we were hanging out with Dan, and I think it was through Dan that we met the Red Menace guys. And,
DJ Dan.
Yeah, DJ Dan, and so I mean that it helps when you're referred to by DJ Dan.
Yeah.
And so we had an in. And then
Right.
I think even before we actually released one of our own originals on Red Menace, we had done this remix. And it really, I think you'll be able to hear the early rave breaks influence in this track.
Oh man, I remember when I got that track, and I remember when Jon sent it over, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, you guys are onto something here.
It's like, it's great when your own track becomes a battle weapon, and you're like, yes, this is one of those ones where, yeah,
oh, man.
one of the ones that you looked at,
that one part, you guys are here, but when it goes, hey buddy, hey buddy, buddy, when that part comes in, and then the whole thing comes in after that, it's like, oh my god. I remember when I would play that, and it's like, first the first hook was that hey buddy comes in, right? It's like leads into it, right? And then boom, hey buddy, that's like the payoff. I go, oh shit, there's the payoff right there. But no, you come back with the second payoff when it all comes in, and then with all the bass line and everything, everyone would go nuts on the dance floor when I used to play that. I would just sit there just to say, okay, let's see what happens here. You know what I mean? I'd be so excited to see their faces when I would play that. It's just like, oh yeah, this. And that record too was like a really good indicator, because some nights aren't so good as others, and okay, I go, well, these guys don't dance to this one, I know it's not me, and that would be one of my tracks I would test it with, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was great memories. I'm glad you picked that one to share with everyone, because oh man. So let's go ahead and listen to this one, JonH and Rascal. Okay, not gonna play that one. Yeah. But man, awesome. See, that threw me off, man. That track was so good. It's like it threw me off a little bit. The other track started.
Oh man. That was so good. You got our names right this time.
We're playing musical.
Oh, you like that?
I really want.
I'm Steve.
I'm Jason.
Oh, I'm still not right. I'll be Jason now, and you could be Jeff.
All right, there we go. All right, yeah.
Yay! All right.
I like this screen. This looks.
That's why we call it Wing It Radio.
Yeah, Wing It Radio. Jeff, that was really. I'm really glad you got to play that. That's honestly when we had our pre-chat about what we want to do with this show. I started digging through all things old school about Jon, and I honestly hadn't listened to those tracks in a long time.
What the hell's that? Okay, hold on one sec. Don't know why that's going on. Hold on one sec here. Okay, I'm going to end this and come right back, all right?
All right.